Hello, Beth.
Hello, Susanna. It's so nice to be here, to see you, and to be
Thank you for
invited.
joining me in this conversation. Um, yeah, so we've gotten to know each other a bit, and I really enjoyed the synergy, the energies that we co-create when we meet. And I thought it'd be nice to record a conversation for others. And for those who don't know who you are, you're a psychotherapist
I am.
and a spiritual teacher
Yes.
for many years. And you live in the Bay Area
Mhm.
and the birthplace of a lot of wonderful kind of non-dual type therapies. And you're an author, and you wrote a book recently that I really loved, and which you may touch on at some point during our conversation. But so we came up with some topics, some ideas of what we'd like to touch on, and what we thought might be interesting also for those listening.
Mhm.
And the first one is something that I haven't really spoken much about with others in publicly, and
Yeah.
and actually you came up with this topic, and that is the role of teachers and
Yeah.
gurus. Teachers and gurus, maybe you can also distinguish that. And we're going to sort of pass the baton back and forth during our conversations. And the role of teacher before awakening and then following, even, of course, during.
Yeah.
And like what part did a teacher or teachers play
Hmm.
in your own understanding? And was there support? Was there also times that it wasn't and that it backfired and it caused harm? Because that can happen too. And I'm not presuming, but maybe you can just share a bit of what what did you find? How did teachers impact you and play a part in your own unfolding?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. And we'll go back and forth, yes, because I'd love to hear the same kind of reflection.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah. Um, let's see, to begin with, so teachers and life can also be a teacher.
Yeah.
As a teacher, but
That's
I'm thinking of like teachers or gurus. And for me, even as a child, I always had the sense that there was something deeper than that was going on that I could possibly understand, or anybody else around me seemed to understand.
uh-huh.
And I came to adulthood, early, young adulthood, with this sense of I wanted a personal relationship with God,
Uh-huh.
but I had no idea what was even showing up. I mean, I didn't know what I meant by God. I didn't know what I meant by a personal relationship. It was words.
Yeah.
Um, I had a sense it wasn't a person in the sky.
Uh-huh.
I had a sense it was something very deep, but it was all so vague that for me, I needed someone to show up
Mm-hmm.
that carried that within themselves for me to go, oh, that's what I'm looking for. There was the sense of love or a sense of presence or a sense of even clarity, but mostly the sense of um, something so present that I could finally have some words that made sense to me for what I was seeking. I didn't know what I was seeking. It seemed so vague. I couldn't put two and two together. And then I went, that's it. That is it.
Mm-hmm.
So it helped me. For me, it was enormously helpful. And the funny thing is I would never have been even able to say the words, I wanted a teacher. I wouldn't have even recognized that.
I see.
You know,
And
I'm
how old were you when a teacher came in? Was it a male, female? Are you comfortable mentioning their names? It's up to you.
Absolutely, yeah.
Yeah.
So the first time, well, actually, I'll tell you something first
Yeah.
before I answer that question, because when you said, was it not helpful? And I realized that as I've been reflecting on this, getting ready for us to be talking about it, I wasn't even thinking about the fact that for 14 years I was married, had young kids, and we were in what I would now call a cult.
Yeah.
But it was a very high functioning,
Mm,
highly educated, well to do group of people. So it was hard to recognize
mm,
as a cult.
mm,
And I gave myself away completely,
mm.
completely. Like whatever they said, okay.
Yeah.
And yeah. So by the time I was actually ready for a real teacher,
Mm,
I knew something that I knew it viscerally.
mm.
Like you don't give yourself away
Yeah.
to a teacher.
Oh, okay. So that was conscious.
That was conscious.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was conscious. Yeah. So I was well, oh God, I don't even remember how old I was, but I was practicing as a psychologist for many years, the moment that I'm going to tell you. And I saw an interview by Adyashanti, who I had never heard of. And what came to me is like, I found my teacher. And again, as I said, I didn't know I was looking for a teacher.
Wow.
He was the first. He was actually the second. It's a whole long story. I won't go into that. He, but Adyashanti was a public figure whose presence I could recognize. But
Oh,
my real teacher was Jan Frazier, who lives on the East Coast.
yeah.
Yeah, and I had a friend gave me her book, and I could feel the love and presence right off the pages, which I know we both know, right?
Yeah.
And I think people who are listening to us, you can feel even in the words of a book, you can feel presence.
Yeah.
And so it was very clear to me that,
Beautiful.
yeah, really, really clear. And so
What book was that?
when fear falls away,
Yeah. 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 It's amazing. Yeah.
yep,
Mm.
yeah. So do you want me to continue and talk about after, or do you want to chime in and say something
Well,
about?
so the role of teachers. So how did having a teacher that was that was in sync with you, that you felt trusting of,
Yeah,
how did it serve you in your development and spiritual growth?
yeah. Um, couple of ways. One, it shone a light on what still needed healing because to be in her quiet presence made it very clear how loud it was inside me.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, okay. So, that's sort of like,
Mm.
and her depth of kindness, um, and the fact that it really, really didn't matter to her whether you liked her or you didn't like her. Didn't matter to her.
That's that's a nice city.
Truly,
Power.
truly. And
I guess
again,
that goes along with fear falling away.
it does. And I think, again, sorry, go ahead.
Well, it like these qualities, did you feel like, well, for that you kind of grew into similar qualities in yourself?
Absolutely.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
that's what I
That,
see.
that to me is what was magical. What was
Yeah.
magical is that it, it's like love blossomed within. And it was like one of these reckonings and realizations of that the real teacher, the real guru is within. Up until that time, I was still looking outside. And so the moment, not the moments, because it was gradual, it was a gradual process of this just kind of growing and growing in me. It's like, oh my God. And this recognition of not only that love is within in a humongous way, but that I don't think I could have told you before, but I had assumed that awakening looked like her behavior. Whatever she did
Yeah.
is what awakening was.
Yeah.
And whatever I was doing was up for question.
Right. Well, this is actually super common. Super common. That projection. Yeah.
Exactly. Super common and amazingly liberating when that projection is taken back.
Yeah. Yeah.
And the realization of like, no, life is asking to be expressed here fully,
Mm.
fully, 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 fully.
Yeah.
So
Yeah. To not be in imagination about awakening, what it's going to bring you, and that you have to include yourself as you are.
exactly.
And what did you get from Adya?
Um, well, I'll tell you the experience because I don't know how else to put it into words. Um, I had an enormous amount of trauma through my childhood, and so both body and psyche were real tight. Um, I can remember, oh my God, I was on a college camp. I wasn't a student. I don't know why I was on a college campus. And I saw a young lady laying in the sun, just completely arms open, wide open. And I even recognized at that moment, long before any of this was alive in me, is like, I don't think I could do that.
Mm.
I don't think I could possibly be that open
Yeah.
at all, much less in public. And the very first time I went to one of Aj's large satsangs,
Yeah.
I sat there and I thought, if there was nobody else, the feeling I had is I wanted to get up, go into the middle aisle, and I wanted to lay down like who's the guy who Da Vinci's Vesuvius man? I don't
Oh,
remember.
you mean the one that he looks like he's being taken apart and
He's got his arms and legs way out, and there's a circle around him.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah, that's what I wanted to do. So, whatever presence, whatever um, profound, radical acceptance was
Uh-huh.
being completely transmitted.
It sounds like you felt welcomed.
Very much,
Yeah.
without a word.
Yeah. Wow, it's amazing within a large group like that too.
Yeah.
So, all this is before awakening. Um, do you want to talk about after, or do you?
No, the after is when the recognition of that the love was within
Yeah,
myself.
that's what I figured. That's
Yeah,
I was going to say that came with awakening, but I was going to
it.
wait. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. No, it.
Yeah. And and then what did they, just curious, what was your relationship to them as teachers after your awakening?
Yeah. Good question, Susanna. It's a good question because it's not an automatic, right?
Right. No.
Um, Jen and I are dear friends, absolutely dear friends. And I don't think I can actually put into words what it's like to meet as one without any of those kinds of projections and to just thoroughly enjoy each other's company,
Mhm.
thoroughly enjoy each other's families, thoroughly enjoy going to a movie, taking long walks,
Wow.
talking about anything from the mundane to the most
Mm.
exquisitely, beautifully profound.
Yeah. Really a human and divine friendship.
Truly reciprocal.
Yeah. Reciprocal. You know that saying, is it Meister Eckhart who said, the eye that sees God is the same eye that sees me?
Mm, I don't know who said it, but
I think
yeah,
so. Something
yeah,
like that saying. And that's what I was just picturing with the two of you. The eye that sees God is the same eye that sees me. That's what ended up becoming this reciprocal
right.
seeing.
Yep, yep.
Before that, it was seeing God and or being seen or
It,
just,
it,
it wasn't both happening. Cool. Yeah. So the role of teacher, um, and the journey of teacher, with along with projections, and maybe even, did you have any disappointments? Because with projections often come disappointments.
I don't think so. I mean, I think that there was this kind of, it required, maybe it was a disappointment. It was more this kind of like, um, the mixed bag, like with Jan, the mixed bag of her getting to be fully real with me
Mm.
and my recognition or my like appreciation of our humanity in this whole thing, you
When
know?
that happens, you lost her as a teacher in that kind of way. When she, like, that might be some of the, not a disappointment per se, but it shifts, and then it's like, I'm not assuming this is true for you, but I've had something like that happen in the past. And um, it's almost like one has to up one's game
Huh, huh.
of being able to know that truth is really, truly everything, including our teacher's humanity,
Yes. Yep.
and that if there's going to be disappointment, well, hello, my dog. If there's going to be disappointment, it would be because that's hard to do, or there's a story there that they shouldn't have those kinds of feelings or
Ex-
vulnerabilities or fears, even when fear falls away. But wait, there's a fear.
Right. Exactly. Exactly. And I would have called it not, I would have called it a disillusionment. And I've
Yeah,
always,
that's nice.
yeah, because there is a disillusionment, which to me is a very like positive thing.
Right, because that's just wonderful, right? Taking
Right.
the illusions and projections off, even it's such a reflection of how much one is accepting oneself as we are, to
Yeah.
accept that which we've projected onto as it is. It's kind of like a
Amen.
beautiful thing. And not everybody's able to be friends with their one of their teachers as you, and they don't get to have that experience and graduate.
Uh-huh.
You graduate, but it's a private party, if you don't become friends and or have anything to do with them. But if you're in this, taken into the fold, kind of like in the old days. Well, you know what it reminds me of, which I've always had some kind of feeling for and intuition towards, is like the tradition in Sufism, where in the old days where people used to be taken to the fold by the teacher and they would live in their compound with them, and the teacher had a family.
Uh,
It was like part of the ordinary and being teacher. And then you'd have the disciple student, participating in a much more intimate way than nowadays with anything.
wow.
So yeah, so there would be the
Wow.
human would be woven into it
Exactly.
immediately,
Exactly.
you
Wow.
know. Yeah, it's quite lovely,
Truly.
for everyone's sake. And really probably for the teacher, it ups their game too. In terms
Well,
of not being a game, but in terms of like modeling, like I've got to really live what I know to be true, and with speech and action,
for real though.
for real.
For real.
Not just coming on a stage and
Right.
everybody in that doesn't really know. You don't really know what's happening at home and
Exactly.
intimate relationships.
Wow. Yeah.
Yeah, so you have that with one of the two teachers you just mentioned. You have that
Yep.
closeness.
Yeah. No, I mean, for years after I went back there for 2, 3 months every fall, and we just hung out and played and talked and had, it was fabulous.
2, 3 months?
Yeah,
Whoa, yeah, it's very similar to that then. Yeah, very similar.
absolutely.
Yeah, so who's going to come and live near you?
Are you inviting our listeners?
Yeah, right now. Yeah, a bunch
Oh
of
my
tents.
goodness.
We don't need that. It's, yeah, it's luckily we have this
Right.
interesting, I mean, it's fortunate and it has its negatives, of course, too. It's not as intimate. But anyway, so
Did
any
you have
first,
teachers?
I have, yes, not, I do, my teachers are, I followed a kind of a little bit of a different path in the sense that um, my first teachers were like larger than life. They were gurus, you know, Amachi.
Oh, yes.
But first was Neem Karoli Baba,
Okay. Yeah, not
Ram
familiar.
Dass's guru.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So, but I didn't meet him through Ram Dass. What happened is I fell into going to his temple in Taos when I was like 21, 22. And I lived in Taos and everybody who was more bohemianish knew about the Hanuman temple, Neem Karoli Baba Ashram. And so I started to go, and I was deep into yoga and meditation and coming home to myself and finding my own way without any real guidance. I had lived for 6 months at Satchidananda's ashram in Yogaville, which is in Virginia, as a sevak, a karma yogi work exchange. But I never took him on as a guru. He felt more like a benevolent uncle.
Uh-huh.
But it didn't and he gave a lot. Like, you know what I love about some of these really, really great teachers is whether it's a teacher slash into leaning into guru, there's different types. And mostly the gurus that I followed were all from India. They weren't like American born gurus. That would be weird for me. Because it's part of the culture and tradition, so it doesn't feel out of weird that that's part they grow out of the soil and and it's in it's the thousands of years of tradition. So
Mm.
Nanda came from India and his teacher was Swami Shivananda, and he was a great being. But yeah, so one of the great things about teachers who I think are real is that they don't care if you're their one and if they're your one and only. They're like, whatever, go to me today and go to someone tomorrow. I don't really care. Except, they want you to progress.
Okay.
If you're sincere, they want to see that you're progressing. And so he gave me a lot. And so, but when I went to Taos, I fell into the fold of going to the Hanuman temple with Neem Karoli Baba, who was no longer alive, and he had never stepped foot in the US. They had built that temple, Ram Dass and his aunt and a little group that Ram Dass wasn't yet famous, maybe. I don't know. I don't think so. When they found the land and eventually built this thing, and it's been there for 40 years. I don't know, 35, 40 years. So maybe. And it's just it's a beautiful place to go to. And I just fell in love with Neem Karoli Baba, and he was in the body, but that just taught me something because I felt him.
Okay.
And
Can you say what you got?
so I think I was just I was a very strong devotee in terms of not just his devotee, but devotee in love with longing, in love with truth. Even though, and I didn't have it wasn't non-dual language, it wasn't the non-dual teachings, it was um, very steeped in the Indian tradition. It felt like it was familiar to me, that
Mm.
stream.
Mm.
And like, Hanuman as the monkey god and Shiva and like the Divine Mother and Kali and all those, it's like those archetypes spoke to me.
Isn't that fascinating?
Universal Mother, the Divine Mother,
Mm.
really fascinating. And it just what it did for me is it made me let go that this was up to me. It made me feel a trust,
Wow.
trust that I was cared for
Mm,
and that I was being guided.
mm.
And I trusted it 100%. It was so weird.
And you were young.
I was young,
Yeah.
very young. I just knew with
Yeah.
my meditation and my own work, I was definitely doing my own work,
Yeah.
but I knew that I was being guided home and I wasn't worried. I wasn't um, unsure that that wouldn't happen. I just was like a naive fool, like the fool card
Yep. Yep.
going along.
For innocence.
Innocence, really innocent, but things happen to innocence, beginner's mind. Things happen to you. And then I met Amma. So Amachi, I met her when I was like 25, 6. And so then I had my divine mother and my fa divine father, which suited me just fine.
Yum.
And it was weird. A lot of people who went to the Hanuman temple in Taos, and not even just this, even in the US, who followed Neem Karoli Baba, they also followed Amma. So it was not uncommon. It was not uncommon to have the mother and Neem Karoli loved the Divine Mother and he loved the earth, Mother Earth. He
Mm.
always liked to lay on it on the earth and say, "This is my mother,"
Wow.
you know. And
Mm,
he was huge, huge love. Neem Karoli Baba was all about love.
gives me goosebumps.
Yeah. Anyway, so
What
those
was
are my
what was your first impression of Amma when you what was if not impression but the sense? What'd you get?
um. I was in Santa Fe, and it was when she had um um there was the ashram was there, but it's the same land, but it was just a tent, a big giant tent at the time. And it was a nice crowd, but not what it is now. What did I get? I felt the force field of
Uh-huh.
her energy walking in. And it has a flavor to it, and it's the same flavor. It never left after 35 years of knowing her or whatever.
Ooh. Was it roses?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Maybe 40 years. Yeah, roses, no, 35. Pink roses, this, yeah, roses and bliss, love,
Mm,
love. And you
yeah.
could cut it with a knife. It was so thick. And every teacher that I'm going to mention, and I won't go on too long, but every teacher I'm going to mention, I was divinely guided to them, and I knew that they were the real thing. So Neem
Yeah.
Karoli Baba
Yeah.
is still with me. Amma, um, and Amma used to visit me in the dreams and guide, and I got a lot of instruction from different teachers, all kinds of teachers in my dream time. I was guided at night.
Do you feel you came in with all this? This is
Um,
so familiar to you. This is so easy to recognize.
um, I first time I sat down to meditate, and I was like 21, I went right in the stream.
Like that.
And I never ever had a problem with it. It never ever dawned on me that you should. I didn't
Uh-huh.
know that it was a struggle for people. So yes, I think that and the longing for wholeness once it disappeared after my 9, 10, 11, 12, it started to ebb, the wholeness, feeling of wholeness. I just wanted it back. So I was already becoming a seeker
Yeah.
for what I had.
Yeah.
So yeah, I think I came in with something, and I think I have a um uh an India in me, India,
Exactly.
but I
Exactly.
also have other flavors. It's so
Right.
weird how these different flavors we can have.
I know. I mean,
Mhm.
I'm so glad we're having this conversation because here it is. It's like it's like a rose versus a redwood tree or whatever you want to use in nature. Like it's so divinely gorgeous.
It is so divinely gorgeous. And the
Truly.
thing is, you know, in my 30s, I met Adya,
Huh.
but I first met Gangaji, and
Huh.
that was a really sweet thing, but she didn't become my teacher. But
She
I
did.
no, but I recognized she was a teacher, and
Right.
I respected her, and I felt empowered around with listening to her. Like she knew her stuff, and that it was true, and that it was a woman, and it was like, and then suddenly it was like it went. It's like it was nice to graduate. The gurus were still in me, but to have human type teachers, because these are larger than life
Yeah.
teachers, gurus, to have human teachers was really important for the next phase of my development, which is the that this is possible here, and it's going to be blooming from within. And then I met Aja, and I was already having an awakening when I met Aja. I was having a deep awakening into emptiness due to my brother's death. So
Okay.
he died, and we were only a year apart, and I got catapulted into nothing is true. I can't count on anything. Nothing's going to come save me. Um, and for a while, these wonderful gurus, I told them to take a hike. I was pissed.
Oof.
And they did. They're very helpful. Like, okay, you need the desert. You need to be in the desert.
Right.
Yeah. And so then I was like, like imagination was falling away, and anything I had projected onto the world just got removed. All those veils got removed, got stripped. So I had gone from fullness, that everything's divine, from being in touch with these gurus, to like everything being stripped. Nothing is true. Not any belief. There's no one here, and I got so stripped down to the ground, to the bare bones, and couple years. And I met Audrey during that time. The kids were little.
Hmm.
Yeah. And the first time I saw him, I took one look. He was in the library at the time, and he moved over then to Merritt College. Was it Merritt College, that church, in Oakland? And I took one look at him, and because I was living in Marin, and I realized uh I knew that that was a human being that had woken up fully.
Yeah.
And what it did is like it closed the gap and gave me full permission. Like I gave myself permission, not him, but I gave myself permission in that moment that that's my potential too.
Wow. Were you aware that with all that exposure to the gurus that you were not imagining you had that potential and that this was a new awareness?
I felt like what was happening is that I was being expanded and raised up, and I was in the field of more like divine manifestation of like creativity and pure potential, but more on a grand scale.
Okay.
Because I heard the singing of the spheres, I
Okay.
had visions. It was more like this, the magic of the universe was, I was in that swimming in that dimension. When I got stripped down to rock, wood, here, no imagination, Zen, nothing, just like what is. And what is just what is. You couldn't get away from it. And so that's when I met Aja. I'm like, he's living
Yeah.
something. And it wasn't so far away, Beth. It wasn't far away. It was just like I needed to feel it in a human being in the flesh,
Yeah, I get it.
and get that same.
Exactly.
And it
Right.
took some years for me still in my own journey to close the gap to really. embody and integrate. I had more um, unresolved issue traumas, but not giant, but enough.
Hmm.
Enough. And I think I had more than Adya, who was kind of a light,
Yes.
white bread, light
Yes.
over there and in Palo Alto-ish, kind of, I had a lot more of a colorful life leading up to that moment. Living homeless on the beach with the kids when they were little for a short moment,
Whoa,
losing a brother,
right.
being sent to boarding school at 9 in Switzerland. I mean, good things slash adventures, adventures slash, you know,
Shook.
and so in a way, it's like when you have more going on, which is, something we can lean into next in our topic too. When you have, in a way, it's more challenging to have more content versus a lighter load like Aja or somebody. I'm not trying to single out poor Aja out here, but and then there are people who have heavier loads and in between loads, right? So, but to me, my experience is that when the light of consciousness, awareness really penetrates the the all the stuff that's contained, all the content, the liberation is pretty dang deep. It's like saturated. It's like the water going down in the earth and it gets awakened to and awakened to and awakened to, you know?
Wow.
It's the
I do.
substratas. It's not just nice appear, it's substratas.
Exactly.
Yeah. So post awakening, real quick, I'm going on too long, but post awakening, um, or maybe I'm not going on too long. Um, well then the gurus that I had asked to take a hike, I welcomed them back and they're like, sure, we'll come back, but you don't like,
You don't need us.
yeah, we're not as active,
Uh-huh.
but I
Huh.
know they're there.
Yeah.
I've had proof of that. They moved on to others who need them more. And then but I stopped closing myself off, is my
Yeah.
point. And
Yeah.
then with Adya, I graduated myself from the Sangha. Part of it wasn't just Adya, it was the Sangha. I was a
Mm.
volunteer for a while.
Really? Oh.
Yeah, I mean, I was actively involved for about 9 years. And
Oh.
then, um, but, um, and
I might have even seen you. Who knows?
huh?
I might have even seen you
Yeah, well, it grew and it grew and it grew.
for sure.
And then I kept going to see Amma and I would still go see Amma. I don't feel like I could ever really fully graduate from Amma or even from the Karoli Baba because they're just, I mean, it's just you keep growing, you keep growing. And then with Ajay, I just graduated myself because I needed to do my own life. I
Mm.
recognized that we had different trails in a way. I was a mother.
Yes.
Um,
A
I
woman.
a woman. I had some financial kind of ups and downs, being single mother. There are things that I didn't feel met
Hmm.
with, and it was not his fault in any way, but I needed to, I wasn't going to live an Adya life. I had my own nitty-gritty and life to live and to find my way. And also I was a mystic, and also I had this love for the mystics, mystical nature. So I put myself in my own channel um and always am appreciative and love him, but I don't in any way model myself on what he is about. So I graduated myself.
What a blessing for both of you.
Yeah, and also as a spiritual teacher, I needed to make my own way
Yeah.
and not be, didn't want to be a replica.
Yeah.
I didn't want to be a replica, and some people wanted to kind of see me as as a replica, an accessible one that they couldn't, I'm
And
just not accessible, so they come to me or to someone like me.
right,
And that's never been my what I've been about. It's not there's something wrong with that, but it's more life is so much more immense than any single teacher
right,
or any single path,
right.
any single way of being,
Yeah.
any single way of awakening. It's so immense. And I wanted to allow myself to be full of the immensity versus in a channel of a path, a way, a tradition, following
Beautiful way of saying it,
or
Susanna.
following in the wake of a teacher,
Right.
you know? Yeah. So,
Which doesn't work.
well, for some it does. A lot of people, they're in the tradition of Ajahn, they're in his lineage, or they're in the tradition of I don't know, list any of like even the mindfulness gang, from Spirit Rock.
Right? I don't think it's the tradition that I'm saying it can't be real. I mean, a replica, it can't be real.
Right.
I mean, tradition, your own voice and your own intuition and your own sense of things and your own God, that
Yeah.
in tradition is different than you are Aja light.
Oh my God. I mean, yeah, and it's so unfair to Aja, but also unfair to oneself
I think so.
because each the creator, the divine is unique
Right.
here and here and here and here. And it wants to live its own uniqueness out, right?
Exactly.
I mean, you're not a replica of Jan Frazier.
Oh, no, I'm so relating to so much that you're saying. And it was such liberation of like, I mean, I'll give you a couple of examples. It's like, I remember saying to her, well, two things. One, she had access to anger her whole life. I did not have access to anger. For her to be angry was a waste of time. If I had followed in her footsteps, I would have stayed suppressed.
Wow.
Make no sense.
That's a really good one.
If we're talking about wholeness, makes no sense.
Wow. That's a great just teaching right there.
Yeah. Yeah, and to have access because there is a potency for around boundaries for with anger.
Hmm.
And if you don't have it,
Hmm.
there's something really genuinely missing. So I relate very much to what you're saying
Yeah.
about not being
It's
a replica and about
right. Well, it's almost like you have to have some fire
say
to
more,
to individuate. And I'm not saying individuate as a separate self,
right?
but a fire to individuate and burn off all that isn't true here.
Exactly. Exactly.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
And honor what's true there.
With great bowing,
Right. And it's reciprocal. I
right?
mean, I have but yeah, I mean, and then to forge your own way, stand in your own two shoes, as Adya would even say. Stand in your own two shoes. Yeah.
That's right.
Yeah.
Which sounds so simple
Yeah.
and is incredibly demanding because it asks everything of you. I mean, it's always such a funny thing to me that we have to go through so much to be our natural selves.
Yeah.
Because really what it's all comes down to is it couldn't feel more natural.
Right.
And yet all that pretense that had to be put down.
And it's still burning off. I mean,
Right.
I feel like that's an ongoing journey. is the refinement. And we can start leaning into the second part, which is the humanity being part of the picture and understanding, growing in the understanding how it's all sacred
All sacred,
and that
sacred.
the human being, the authentic human being, when it's not being distorted
Mhm.
by the separate self and by all the pain,
Yes.
but where disturbing feelings and emotional states can emerge out of, which is understandable. But post awakening,
Mhm.
um, like all that burns off too. The What is not what has been born out of separation, gets to be harmonized, wouldn't you say?
Definitely.
Yeah.
And going back to what you said earlier about finding the awakening in the ordinary,
Hmm.
in the everyday, ordinary humanness, to find the divinity, to be the divinity in that is quite remarkable.
Can you share something about your own? I'm just looking at the light. Is it okay now that it's getting
I
dark?
just find,
Yeah, okay. Um, can you share something about
yeah,
your own process of liberating the authentic human? Hey, I kind of like that.
like that too. Yeah, right. Yeah.
If we're looking for a title for later.
Liberating the authentic human. Yay. Yeah. Oh my. Well, I mean, I suspect I speak for a lot of people, everybody, people who are listening. I can't imagine that this, what I'm going to say is all that uncommon. But it's like this conviction that I had that awakening would free me from my humanity.
Hello? Anybody else in the audience here?
Exactly.
Save me from it. Save me.
And you know, honest to God, when I would hear an Ajah say, awakening is not what you think it's going to be, I went, uh-huh.
Easy for you to say.
Well, and also, like, I went, uh-huh, like I knew
Sure.
what he was talking about. I had no idea what he was talking about.
No, we don't.
And I could not comprehend. And I had this bizarre um, evidence behind my conviction that I had spent my lifetime in therapy healing.
Mm,
So I was absolutely convinced
mm.
that awakening was a final resting spot.
That it was progressing.
That, but once awakening, I mean, that bliss, that's it.
Yeah,
That's it.
yeah.
And the funny thing is, I suspect this was probably a blessing for me. But even though the bliss lasted for a year, I had relational conflicts all the way along.
That's not the Beth I know now.
And it was like one of those like, what what am I missing? What didn't, I mean, I could not comprehend
Right.
how to grok
Oh,
the reality of all this.
oh.
And I can say now, it's like it makes so much sense because with trauma, I was so far away from my body. There was no vessel for manifesting, there was no vehicle for realization. And again, I didn't want anything to do with my humanity. It was pure, like, awfulness,
Even though you had done all this
even though,
healing work and
even though
therapy work.
in my, so this is a very strange, um, I'm going to say it as if it's something that there's a line between it, but there's not.
Mm,
But there wasn't a lot of psychological or psyche pain.
mm,
It was in the body.
mm-hmm.
So the anxiety I was left with was in the body.
Yeah, Yeah. Yep.
The feeling of unsafety I still lived with was in the body.
Right. So the psychological self was quite healed.
Quite healed,
Yeah. And in
quite
the body.
known,
Yeah.
really known and accepted.
Right.
But the poor body, it's like, so, it was years and years. And the first however many years, there was a pleasure to embodiment because I learned how to move in a new way. I learned how to do yoga. I learned how to hike. I did things that I had not done that were all about being in the body.
That's great.
So it was fun. And I thought,
Yeah.
oh, this is, yippee, cool.
Yippee.
Yippee, cool. So, I mean, I was happy with the humanity because there wasn't anything that I was bumping up against
I see.
that would say to me, you don't really consider your human self sacred.
So
You don't.
kind of like awakening light, enlightenment light.
Exactly.
Maybe
Exactly.
someone who's listening can kind of recognize that in themselves even too.
Truly.
Yeah, it's part of it. Yeah.
Yep.
It's natural. We move away from discomfort. It's natural.
It is very, very natural. And it's also natural that the discomfort can be so buried, you're not even aware you're uncomfortable.
Yeah.
I mean, I can remember the very first book I wrote was on resilience, and I did a whole lot of publicity for it. And I remember standing on a stage 3 separate times in my life to talk about the book on resiliency. And this happened each time. Each time there was a body worker in the audience.
Oh,
And each time the body worker came up to me quietly and privately after and said, have you ever considered doing body work?
oh shoot.
And I didn't get it at the time. Now
Whoa.
I go, I bet you anything you could just see that there was no aliveness
Oh,
in the body.
I, yeah, I'm kind of curious what that looked like back then. Yeah.
Well, probably stiff,
Oh,
you know?
I feel for that one, you know? And
Truly, truly.
yeah.
Yeah. So I think what I'm saying to you is that it has been this ongoing process of loving, genuinely loving these places that have been so disowned.
Well, that book that you wrote recently, Not for the Faint of Heart.
Awakening is not for the faint of
Yeah.
heart. Exactly. And then coming to the cellular recognition of how sacred our humanity is. That and everybody's gonna say we're not separate. Okay, that's a given, right? But the cellular knowing that our humanity is godly, it's a whole different cup of tea, in my experience. You know.
And what made that happen for you? Just,
Well, that goes more to the third thing about anything is possible. I'd have to say that having long COVID for 3.5 years and being forced to be still in a body that felt unsafe,
yeah.
opened things up in me that I don't know how else it could have happened. I don't know.
Mm,
I was so miserable. I felt so forsaken.
mm.
And thank God for presence being that their awareness never, never, awareness always being there, presence always being there, no matter how miserable I felt,
Yeah.
allowed me to be completely attuned to however I was feeling, however.
Yeah.
And I think one of the most remarkable thing that came out of it is a sense of joy that I have to my toes that I have not known before.
Right. Because you moved out of the um the illness. Um and and emerged.
Right.
Well, I mean, I knew you then, you
Exactly.
you emerged, and it and like, tell us about that.
Well, here's the thing. I mean, this is why I say it's anything is possible. To me, it's like uh, unbelievable. I have lived with a body anxiety my entire life. And it simply made sense. I mean, I had a very traumatic background, and so I just went with, okay, this is something that will just be with me. And virtually, it is gone, gone.
Yeah. Well, that's such a grace. And
Amazing,
grace and the power of resiliency
truly.
and staying present to something so long, so uncomfortable.
Exactly. And so completely uncertain and unknown and dark. And to stay present with it, it's like it feels like there were blocks that I had no access to that were holding the bodily anxiety. And it's like once that was loosened as a result of this presence, like, oh gosh, I can't tell you how many times I stop and I go, I would have been anxious doing this. And I'm
Hmm.
not anxious.
Yeah.
And you'll relate to this because you talk about it in one of your um, one of your YouTube talks about I've never fully wanted to be here.
Hmm.
And I fully am so happy to be here now.
Yeah.
So happy to be here on this planet, in this human dimension. Like, and to me, that's a complete miracle. It just never occurred to me that that would be possible.
Yeah.
So it's like, wow, the way that healing and awakening can actually genuinely bring us into such a holy wholeness, a divinely human. It's amazing.
Hmm. Just breathing in that air. Holy wholeness. It, it takes a type of sobering up, like landing with your butt on the ground and just not moving for a good while almost. Sometimes it takes that.
Takes that.
Yeah.
And it has to be again, like, it has to be not because you're going to get somewhere if you do that.
No.
That's what's happening. And that's where you're at.
Yeah. And you just stop moving away. You stop any resistance, any wishful thinking, any any movement away from
Exactly.
just this, just
Including hope,
including hope
including hope,
and including despair.
and including despair. Oh my goodness, yes.
So just this, just stay, just stay. And then we're finally, like, it's like a rebirth.
Mm-hmm.
We're finally here.
Right.
You have something to grow from.
Finally here, and lo and behold, it's the most natural thing in the whole, it's the most extraordinary, ordinary, natural thing in the world.
Right. It's like you finally taken off a breath that's whole. And it's like, where has that breath been? Where has this very natural
Yeah,
wholeness been?
yeah,
It's the most natural thing.
completely.
And where the heck?
Right.
Why? And like you said, it takes effort and work to get there.
And to surrender everything that's in the way of it. I mean, that's the thing. It really is a subtraction issue, not a addition issue. You take away and take away and drop and drop and drop and you know,
Yeah.
See through all the blockages, the knots.
Right, right. The deconstruction
Yeah,
to the root. Yeah. And then you're reborn. And then there's like, I'm happy to be here. I'm here.
exactly.
I have a yes.
Yeah, I am a yes. I am a yes.
I'm a yes. Wait, is that a new word, a new name for it? I am yes. I am. Yes. Yes. I am a yes. Funny. Yeah. Yeah. And then the humanness part, it just falls in place that it's included and that there are feelings that take place without necessarily the whole story of their needing to feelings to be gone because truly feelings are liberated and emotions are liberated and the human is liberated from its
Exactly.
idea of itself,
Right.
idea of the separate self. When that falls away, the human is liberated.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. A beautifully, beautiful, concise way of saying it. Yep. Yep. Yep.
And that can be very confounding. I know we can talk a little bit more just about this because it feels important, because that can be very confounding to spiritual seekers or realizers who are just realizing um, how much the human is re-welcomed and liberated.
Yes.
And it doesn't go away. You don't just become like, I don't know what ideas we held.
You wouldn't think, you wouldn't be thinking
You wouldn't be thinking and you would never suffer. There
at
would be
all,
no suffering,
at all.
no grief, all
No grief.
pains, all that stuff.
Life would not throw you a curveball.
Yeah, yeah. And you'll be in the flow state and graced. Like what's wrong with you? You were in a car accident.
Yes,
What,
exactly.
how awake are you? You were in a car accident.
Exactly. Exactly.
By the way, someone hit me, but yes. Anyway, regardless.
No, but there it is.
Yeah.
Wouldn't you wouldn't get long COVID for 3.5 years.
Yeah, what's wrong with you? What's wrong with you?
Exactly.
You got a divorce. I did. But anything.
Exactly.
Your grown child doesn't want to talk to you for a while.
Right.
Whatever.
Whatever it is.
What's
Right.
wrong with you? You don't have the little picture perfect
That's right.
floaty life floating above the water.
But to me, that's part of the reason we're having this discussion is like this disillusionment after disillusionment after disillusionment. Oh, it's not that. Oh, it's not that. Oh, it's not that. And it's both disillusioning, but so profoundly liberating. It's like, oh my God, completely real and authentic, whatever that looks like. And it's, to me, it's one of the hallmarks is what's really different is that it comes out of kindness. It doesn't come out of like a but it still shows up. That makes sense?
Yeah, and it shows up because we're not islands upon ourselves too. I mean, there's like cars can come from the left and people can betray because um and maybe one's work dries up. It's not all just what's happening here. We are part of a whole,
Good.
and so we're under the influence also. But what is different? I mean, I like what you said about the kindness. We can get back there for a second because there's something there. But I just want to make clear to those listening that it's not like one re-enters the human as a contracted separate self. It's
Exactly.
like that self center is emptied and freed and seen for what it is, that it never actually existed. And because of that, then the natural human, the divinization of it, the naturalness of it the sacredness of it, which is its natural state, basically. Then it's humaning, like a tree is treeing and dog is dogging, water is watering, right? The
Absolutely.
natural human is going to do its humaning thing, and um, and it becomes relaxed and unafraid of letting just being, just let it all flow through. There's some sad, if sadness comes through, same as hunger. It's not like one is higher, better than the other. It's just what is in a way. But then you're saying something about the kindness, and what I think maybe what I'm hearing you say is, oh, I know what you're going to say. It's not, it's not something about words that you have about it's for you. Something it's not a,
Oh yes, yes. That like that. What the car accident, or I'll say with myself, long COVID was not against me. It was for me.
right, right. It was for you.
It was, and it did. It was for the evolution of consciousness. It was for deeper love. It was for deeper rest. It was. But
Yeah.
yes,
And everyone can find their way to that kind of perception. Yeah. Because I also feel, Beth, that what within reality, there's also chaos and just sort of like comet comes and boom, and it wasn't just all pre-planned. There's also chaos.
Mhm.
There's also chaos. So it's not necessarily for us when it happens that way. I think there's life intelligence when it's for you. There's chaos. And then there's another piece too that is because we are not on single islands, that
Yeah.
we are just at the as sort of at the mercy of one another, of our
Yeah.
own, of the group consciousness.
Wow.
Because we are.
Mm. Yeah.
I mean, look at, global warming. I mean, look at we're at the mercy of one of our own group consciousness, unconsciousness. You
Yeah.
know what I mean? We're at the effect of the microplastics and
Yes.
politics, and it's not just for us. It's also we are dreaming, co-dreaming a dream that unfortunately, even when there's a deep release of just being the natural self again, just as nature intended, we're
Yeah.
still at the mercy of the whole, part of the whole. Wouldn't you
Yeah.
agree?
I would. I wouldn't have said that. I don't know that I've registered it in that way, but it rings so true.
Yeah,
Very, very true.
yeah.
I mean, I think about a river flowing, and the boulder just, just falls flat into the river.
It falls flat in the river, and then downstream there are humans who are putting their trash in it,
Yeah.
and it's still a river,
Yeah. Still
but it,
flowing.
but it's been affected.
Exactly. Yeah. I hadn't thought about it. Yep.
Yeah.
And it really speaks to, I mean, it speaks to the experience of what it's like to be human on this planet.
At this time. Here we
I
are.
should say it this time, but I think it's been like this so many times. But we're here right now with this
It
experience.
totally,
Yeah.
totally. So, well, how would we like to wrap up? Is there anything, should we say anything more about just speaking to the beauty for a brief moment about how anything is possible in terms of, um, if we can do it, you can do it. Basically.
Do you want to say something about that?
Well, I will, and then I want you to. What I will just say is, well, what I really want to say is that we get our heart's desire when it comes to this. We don't get our heart's desire about everything.
Hmm.
Certainly don't.
Right.
But in terms of awakening and coming back home to your oneself, if that is really one's heart's desire and it's sincere longing and prayer,
Yeah.
and it gets aligned with the right sort of doing for it, doing here, doing there, and the grace comes, and it will be a journey, but I do believe that it is possible.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oof. That one went straight to the heart.
Hmm. Hmm. And how about you? What do you feel?
I mean,
Heart.
I not only agree with you, it feels so relevant because as long as I can remember, I've had this longing and knowing. So awakening was not a surprise, it was a recognition. Oh, of course, I know you. And and at the same time, my background was difficult enough, truly difficult enough that if when I go into details about it, anybody would say, mm, I don't know how you heal from all that. And how could you possibly awaken with all that crap inside you?
Yeah.
So I'd have to say,
Hmm.
what you just said, I feel like a living example of
Your sincerity.
the profound sincerity, the profound knowing, the profound willingness of surrender,
Yeah.
no matter what was being asked of me. And as we're picking on poor Aja, unlike what was asked of Aja, it's like there was a lot asked of me, a lot that I had to face that was really hard.
Yeah. No.
And something accompanied me all the way along. Or
Right.
I, you know, sometimes unbeknownst to me, and much more so known to me.
Well, I'm glad you made it through. And
Yeah.
you're a beacon.
Yep.
A beacon is a nice image.
Yeah.
Um, one thing that just is popping out right now, just that I want to acknowledge as well with you used the word surrender a few times in our talk and in our sharing, and I want to say that almost all of everything that I just expressed about my early days with Neem Karoli and Amma, my journey into emptiness, my journey into remembering wholeness, my journey into and re-entering the humanity and embodying all of it had interwoven in there surrender.
Mm-hmm.
Surrender in different kinds of ways. Surrender to being nobody, surrender to being somebody, surrender into death, surrender into life, surrender into the heart, surrender into not knowing,
Mm.
right? Not,
Oof.
yeah, not being anything in particular. But so many letting goes.
Mm-hmm.
We could have just as well had this talk on surrender, but it's been interwoven into our whole conversation. Yeah, surrendering fear, surrendering, standing up for boundaries, surrendering. Yeah, anyway. Yeah.
Beautiful. Such a treat to be with you. Such a treat to have this kind of conversation. Mm.
Absolutely. I feel like we could have a little regular segments.
Just getting started.
Just getting started. And you're coming out as a teacher more, so that's fab.
Yes. Also came out of long COVID.
Yeah,
Like it just came loud and clear in me. It's time to move to a bigger stage.
to a bigger stage.
Stage. Okay.
Make
Okay.
people find you in the way they're meant to, and I'll put your info in the blurb. Yeah,
Wonderful.
sweetie. Thank you so much for joining me.
Oh my God. I love you. I
I
loved
love
being with
you.
you.
Oh,
So cool. Really nice.